Hotels. They're meant to be places of rest, right? A warm bed after a long drive, a smiling receptionist handing you your key, maybe even a soft breakfast waiting in the morning. But what if I told you? Some hotel rooms hold secrets no guest was ever meant to uncover. Behind polished counters and freshly made beds, there are doors that were sealed for a reason. Tonight, we're checking into 3 terrifying true hotel horror stories. Tales of rooms that never should have been rented, guests who never checked out, and whispers that still echo down empty hallways. So grab your blanket, turn off the lights, and don't look away, because each story gets darker than the last. Stay with me till the end. And if you love spine-chilling true stories like this, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. The Room with No Number. Rachel Carter was exhausted. She'd been driving for hours through endless rain, trying to outrun the weight of a breakup that left her hollow. When she saw a flickering neon sign that read Maple Rest Lodge, she decided to stop for the night. The inn looked old but cozy. Wooden walls, faded wallpaper, the faint smell of pine. Behind the counter stood an elderly man with kind eyes. "Rough night, miss?" he asked. Rachel smiled weakly. "You could say that." "Only one room left," he said, sliding a brass key across the counter. "Room 213. But when Rachel climbed the creaky staircase, something didn't feel right. Between rooms 211 and 215 stood a plain wooden door. No number, just faint marks where one used to be. She hesitated, but turned the key anyway. The lock clicked open. The moment she stepped in, the air felt wrong. It was heavy, stale, like the room hadn't been opened in years. A faint smell of bleach filled the air. The mirror on the wall had a small crack running through it, and the window refused to budge. Still, Rachel was too tired to care. She kicked off her shoes, turned off the lamp, and let the rain lull her to sleep, until around 2:14 a.m. she heard it, a whisper, soft at first, like someone mumbling from the next room. But as she listened, she realized it was coming from inside her room. Her heartbeat quickened. She held her breath. "You shouldn't be here." The voice was right next to her ear now. Rachel shot up, flicking on the lamp. The room was empty. No one there. She grabbed her phone. No signal. When she opened the door, the hallway was silent. But the carpet outside her room was wet, like someone had just walked through it, barefoot, dripping. She went back in, locked the door, and stayed awake until dawn. At sunrise, she stormed downstairs, trembling. "There's something wrong with my room," she said. "Room 213. The night clerk frowned. "Ma'am, we don't have a room 213. Rachel blinked. "What are you talking about? I just slept there." He pulled out an old hotel map, yellowed and torn. Between rooms 211 and 215, there was a blank space. No room at all. "That part of the building's been closed for years," the clerk said quietly. "Flood damage. We sealed it off." Rachel's hand started to shake. No, I was in there." The clerk followed her upstairs, but when they turned the corner, room 213 was gone. A smooth wall stood where the door had been just hours ago. Her suitcase, her jacket, her keys, gone. Mr. Hensley's face went pale. He whispered. She wasn't supposed to go back in there. Ending. The next morning, a maintenance worker found Rachel's car still parked behind the inn, driver's door open, headlights dead. On the front desk sat a tarnished brass key. The tag read 213. When police investigated, they discovered that decades ago, a woman drowned in the bathtub of room 213 during a flash flood. The room was permanently sealed after that. But sometimes late at night, guests still hear water dripping between rooms 211 and 215. And if you listen closely, you might just hear her whisper, "You shouldn't be here." Daniel Moore was the kind of guy who lived out of suitcases. Business trips, hotel rooms, endless conference calls. Just another blur of days and nights. That November, he checked into the Riverside Suites Hotel in downtown Chicago, one of those modern places with glass walls, chrome elevators, and faint jazz playing in the lobby. Everything looked normal until he reached the front desk. A tall man in a dark suit was waiting, perfectly still. "Welcome, Mr. Moore," he said with a calm, rehearsed smile. "Room 804. Elevators on your left." Daniel blinked. He hadn't told him his name yet, not even checked in. Something about that man's voice, too smooth, too confident, made his skin prickle. He shook it off. Long day. He just needed sleep. But he should have turned around right then. Upstairs, Daniel unpacked, ironed his shirt for tomorrow's presentation, and ordered dinner. Or at least, he thought he did. At 11:03 p.m., there was a soft knock. "Room service," said a voice. Daniel opened the door. No one there. Just a silver tray, sitting on the carpet, under the lid. A perfectly cooked steak. His favorite meal. But he hadn't ordered anything yet. He stared at it, half expecting someone to laugh and say it was a prank. But the hallway was silent. Shrugging it off, he switched on the TV. Local news was running. The headline made his heart stop. "Hotel fire anniversary. 20 dead at Riverside Suites, 2013. The same hotel. Same name. Same building. Before he could process it, his room phone rang. He picked up slowly. "Did you enjoy your meal, Mr. Moore?" That voice. The same calm tone from the man at the front desk. Daniel froze. Who is this? Silence. Then a click. He stared at the phone. No caller ID, no dial tone. And then, softly, from the corner of the room, came a faint hum like someone breathing. Daniel grabbed his jacket and ran to the elevator. Every button he pressed flickered. 7, 8, 9. The elevator jerked violently, then stopped between floors. He pried the doors open and climbed out, heart pounding. When he reached the lobby, it was empty. No front desk clerk. No guests. The chandeliers were shattered, the carpet blackened and curled with old soot. And behind the counter, the wall was burned, scarred from smoke. He stepped closer, voice trembling. "Hello." From behind him, a whisper. "Checking out so soon, Mr. Moore?" He spun around. The night manager was standing in the middle of the lobby, face calm, suit perfectly pressed. But his eyes were hollow, burned. "You shouldn't have checked in." Daniel backed away, breath shaking. "Stay away from me." The lights flickered, and when they came back on, the man was gone. Daniel bolted out into freezing night. Snow pelting his face, his room key still clenched in his fist. Morning. A sanitation worker found Daniel unconscious in an alley behind the old Riverside Suites building, boarded up, abandoned, burned years ago. When paramedics arrived, he kept mumbling the same thing. "He knew my name. He knew my name." Police said there hadn't been a hotel there since 2013. But in Daniel's pocket, they found something strange. A spotless brass key. The tag read, Room 804. And if you believe local rumors, sometimes, when the wind hits just right, you can still see lights flicker in the upper floors of the Riverside Suites. A tall figure behind the front desk, waiting for the next guest to check in. Ethan and Claire Reynolds were the picture of newlywed happiness. They'd just tied the knot a week ago and wanted somewhere quiet, somewhere away from everyone else. So when they found the Silver Pines Lodge, tucked deep in the snow-covered Rockies, it felt like fate, an old-fashioned and with wooden beams, fireplaces in every room, and that postcard view of endless white mountains. The manager, Mrs. Weller, greeted them warmly, but something about her smile seemed strained. "You're lucky," she said, handing over an antique key. The honeymoon suite just opened back up after renovations. Ethan grinned at Claire. "Perfect timing, huh?" Inside, the room was beautiful. Stone fireplace, vintage furniture, and on the opposite wall, an oval mirror, tall, elegant, and facing the bed directly. Claire laughed softly. Romantic and creepy. Just my type. But that mirror would soon show them something they were never meant to see. The first night, everything felt magical. Snow falling outside, fire crackling softly, and champagne glasses clinking. Until around midnight, Claire woke up to a faint sound, a violin playing a slow, mournful tune. She sat up, thinking maybe another guest left their TV on. But when she looked toward the mirror, she froze. Two figures were reflected inside it, a man and a woman, dressed in 1920s wedding clothes, slow dancing in the flicker of candlelight. Claire turned to wake Ethan, but when she looked back, the mirror was empty. The next morning, she told Mrs. Weller what she saw. The woman's face went pale. "That room has history," she whispered. "If I were you, dear, I wouldn't look into that mirror after dark." Ethan laughed it off later. "Probably just a reflection trick, babe. Come on, it's our honeymoon." That night, he decided to prove it. He stood with Claire in front of the mirror, phone in hand. "Say cheese." The flash went off. When they looked at the photo, a pale woman in a torn wedding dress stood between them, staring straight at the camera. Claire dropped the phone. "Ethan, what the hell is that?" Panic set in. They tried to leave, but outside, the blizzard had turned brutal. Snow slammed against the windows like fists. The power flickered, then died. Only the fire remained, burning far too bright for a dying flame. That's when Claire heard it. A soft sob coming from behind her. She turned toward the mirror. In the glass, a woman in a wedding dress stood alone, tears streaming down her face. Her voice was faint, trembling. He left me here." Claire screamed for Ethan. He rushed over, grabbing a blanket and throwing it over the mirror, but it slid off like the glass refused to be covered. Now, the reflection showed the woman again, but she wasn't crying anymore. She was smiling. In her hand was a knife. A crack spread through the glass. Then another. Suddenly, the entire mirror shattered from the inside, shards flying across the room. The fire went out, and the music started again. That same haunting violin tune, echoing from nowhere. When rescuers reached the lodge 3 days later, the honeymoon suite was empty. No Ethan, no Claire. Only 2 wedding rings sat neatly on the fireplace mantel, side by side. The bed was untouched, the window open, snow drifting in. Mrs. Weller swore that no one had checked into that room. The honeymoon suite wasn't even listed online anymore. It had been closed for years. But every February, when snow starts to fall, guests claim to hear faint violin music echoing through the walls. And if you dare to look in that mirror, the one they say reformed itself, you might just see a couple dancing behind you, forever and ever. So, next time you stay in a hotel, take a second look at that mirror. Make sure your reflection blinks when you do. And if your room number's missing or your manager seems just a little too quiet, maybe, just maybe, check out early. If you made it this far, you're braver than most. Hit that subscribe button if you love true horror stories like this. And don't go anywhere, because the next one might just be the scariest yet.